Now for the top story tonight, Juan Williams was a big part of that Radio Factor Hour. He joins us now from Washington with reaction. You know, this is almost funny if it wasn't so dangerous for the nation. We had you on because your book, Enough, which is now out in paperback, is a very intelligent discussion about racism in America. And to set up your appearance, I told people about my grandmother and how she feared blacks, even though she didn't know any blacks. And then I proceeded to tell the audience how ridiculous the fear was by recounting a story about me going to Sylvia's restaurant in Harlem with Al Sharpton. Now, you heard the comments, you saw everything. What do you think about this dishonesty at CNN?
It's rank dishonesty, and the troubling thing is that if I hadn't participated in the discussion, if I was just tuning in to CNN or listening to MSNBC and heard that, oh, Bill O'Reilly said he went to Sylvia's restaurant in Harlem and they weren't using MF and all this kind of stuff, I'd say, oh my God, what is he thinking? Where's that coming from? Why did he say something like that? Not understanding that discussion, Bill O'Reilly, you know, I'm telling you, it's so frustrating. They want to shut you up. They want to shut up anybody who has an honest discussion about race. You mentioned your grandmother. You mentioned the idea that, you know what, your grandmother didn't know any black people. She watches TV. She gets these negative, horrible images of black people. And you had to say to her, Grandma, you don't know anybody. You don't understand. I mean, you know, what are you going to say about Nat King Cole? What are you going to say about people like Willie Mays? What are you going to say about people that you admire? And now they take this discussion and somehow turn it on its head. I'm really appalled, and I say that as someone, you know, who's, I mean, I just can't believe that this is going on. It's outrageous, because the discussion we had was about how too often the images on TV are these rappers glorifying drugs, glorifying violence, degrading women, and that people like your grandmother, and I defended your grandmother. I said, your grandmother's watching TV, and what does she see? All these negative images of black people.
Yeah, I was tougher on my grandmother than you were.
Yeah.
I mean, but anybody listening to it, and we have it on BillO'Reilly.com so the whole world can listen to it, would, I think, have appreciated the discussion for being an exposition of why people are afraid of not only blacks, but everybody they don't know. That was the theme. But here's the danger, Juan. I've been attacked 109 times in 1 year by Media Matters. They attack conservative and traditional commentators. They never attack liberals. Okay? What can we do? It's freedom of speech. They can do whatever they want. But CNN knew this was distorted, knew what they were doing was wrong, because we told them, and put it on anyway. So now what you have is CNN has joined NBC News in parroting far-left propaganda in an attempt to destroy me and the Fox News channel and to deceive their viewers. I think I've never seen anything like this in the media, ever. Well, and you know what? In a presidential year, this becomes ultra dangerous. Go ahead.
It's very dangerous, but they want to marginalize you, Bill. They want to shut you up. But here's my complaint. They're trying to shut up anybody who's having an honest thought about race relations in this country and wants to speak honestly about the damage being done by the likes of these rappers or these comedians who use the N-word.
Absolutely. And
all of that. You know what? They're willing to celebrate Snoop Dogg or Twista or any of these guys who go out there and present these minstrel show images of black people. But then when these images go out and they impact not only white people, and I think too often white people enjoy watching black people act the fool on TV, these minstrel shows like Flavor of Love and all the rest, but it has such a pernicious impact on young black people who are trying to establish their own identity, because they say, right, if you act the fool, if you walk around like a clown and talk badly, that's authentically black.
Cool, right.
Oh,
and that's what we talk about in the book, and that's what our discussion was about.
That's what the discussion was about.
Right.
And when you said you went up to Sylvia's, you said you went in there, the place was a normal restaurant, healthy discussion, people were pleased, and in fact, they celebrated the fact that here's Bill O'Reilly with Al Sharpton, oh my gosh, two celebrities are in the house, and then you said everything settled down like a normal restaurant, ethnic like an Italian neighborhood restaurant.
It was an attempt to tell the radio audience that there is no difference.
Correct.
Black, white, we're all Americans. The stereotypes they see on television are not true. None of that.
And I'm glad you said that. You should repeat that so they hear it again. You said stereotypes are not true. I said to you, you should go up there more often. It shouldn't be a foreign trip. But it had nothing to do with racist ranting by anybody except these idiots at CNN.
Well, CNN has lost all credibility with me in this network, and it's just a shame. We knew that MSNBC or a bunch of smear merchants. We didn't expect this from CNN. Juan, thanks very much. And by the way, Al Sharpton will be here tomorrow. He was my dinner companion up there, and that should be an interesting discussion.